Hey, today is all about macros. We're going to talk about if macros even matter, and then we're going to discuss which is the most important macro to focus on. And then I'm going to share some advice from a few clients that have been getting great results, just so that you don't have to only take my word for it. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Melanie from Female Fitness Systems, and on this YouTube channel we talk about fitness, nutrition, and longevity. So if you're new here, consider subscribing so that you catch future videos from me. So jumping right in, the first thing I want to talk about is, do macros even matter? Because this is something I get asked about all of the time. And in my opinion, for the average woman, what I say is that probably they don't matter as much as you would think. And I know that runs counter to what you're probably hearing on social media and from other coaches, but what I'm going to do in this video is explain my rationale for it based on over 10 years of working with women and getting them great results. So jumping back to when I first started as a coach, I was trained to use the traditional formulas for calculating calories and macros. And I certainly found them helpful, especially when I was working with people who were getting ready for bodybuilder shows, or when I was working with guys who wanted to put on significant amounts of muscle. I used them myself when I first started out, when I was first starting my journey of building muscle and changing my physique. But over the years, when I started working more with just the average woman who wants to get a bit stronger, who wants something lifestyle friendly, I found that the formulas tended to overcomplicate things, and in fact sometimes they actually miss the mark entirely. And so over the years I've refined my approach, and I've come up with a much more lifestyle friendly, sustainable way of doing things, and I talk about that a lot over on my website, so I'm not going to get into how I set calories because we don't have time in this video. So if you want to learn more about that kind of stuff, pop over there. I'll leave a link to my website in the description of this video. So most of my ladies eat around 1,600 calories a day when they're trying to lose weight. And then we set protein at about 100 grams per day. And I tell them to focus on protein because that's the macro that's going to help you manage your appetite while you're losing weight, but it's also going to help you maintain your muscle mass while you're losing weight, and it's also going to help you increase muscle mass as you age, which is really important. And after that, I tell them to let carbs and fat fall as per their preference. Because at the end of the day, if you're eating 1,600 calories and 100 grams of protein, then you're not going to overdo carbs and fat if you stick within that calorie range. So let me get into this in a little bit more detail so you understand what this actually looks like. The first thing you should know is that 1 gram of protein equals 4 calories, which means that if you're eating 100 grams of protein per day, you're going to be eating at least 400 calories from protein. However, usually that protein is going to have additional calories. For example, a piece of steak is going to have some fat as well as the protein, which means that the calories in that steak are even higher. So in this example, let's allocate 600 calories from all your protein sources, leaving 1,000 calories left in your daily caloric intake for carbs and fat. Turning now to fat, every diet is going to have some fat. So let's say fat makes up 30% of your calories. 30% of 1,600 is 480 calories for fat. So looking at the calories you've used up in this example, you've got 600 calories for protein and 480 for fat, which leaves you with 520 calories for carbs. Now, 1 gram of carbs, like protein, equals 4 calories. So that means you would only get 130 grams of carbs based on this breakdown. And that's just enough to make sure we're meeting our requirements for things like fiber, energy, for our brain, and for our mood. So what this example shows is that if you meet your daily protein requirements and allocate some calories to fat, then there's not actually a lot of calories left over for carbs. And if you stick within your daily caloric intake, then you're not going to be overeating carbs. And so that's why I tell my clients to let carbs and fats fall as per their preference, and don't stress about it too much. So even though you've seen my rationale and you understand the logic behind it, one of the problems that you're going to have is that you are going to be on social media on a daily basis, hearing from people who promote high-fat diets, low-carb diets, and you are going to be seeing examples of people who seem to be getting great results. And then on the other hand, you have people from the fitness world who are talking about their macro breakdown and the optimal macro breakdown and why you should be doing the same that they're doing. And what you have to remember is that your goal as an average person just looking to improve your body composition and be healthier in the long run, your goal is to find something sustainable, something that will get you results that you can maintain in the long run. And these people that are following the extreme diets, they will get results in the short term, but are they going to be able to sustain whatever they're doing in the long run? Can you avoid carbs forever? And do you actually want to avoid carbs forever? And then on the other hand, with the fitness world, you have to remember that these people need to achieve and maintain a certain level of leanness or muscle mass way beyond what the average person is doing. And so they have a much different lifestyle than you. And so I want you to bear this in mind when you're on social media and just stay focused on what is going to work for you. And so on that note, I've asked a couple of my clients who are just like you to share what has worked for them. And I asked them, are they focusing on macros or are they just focusing on calories and protein? And here's what they have to say. So the first person is Meredith. I actually just recently posted a testimonial from Meredith on Instagram where she says that she has lost 15 pounds over about a 3-month period, and she says that she has never stuck to a regime this long. So that's great feedback, and I think that's something that is absolutely key when you're looking for a program, being able to stick with it for the long run. So I asked her whether she focuses more on calories or macros, and this is what she had to say. Most days, I simply focus on my calorie intake while making sure to add some healthy proteins to most meals. I occasionally check the macro dashboard on my calorie counting app, but for the most part, I don't stress over those numbers. The next person I asked to share some advice was Megan. Most of you have seen Megan here on this YouTube channel because in a recent video she shared her weight loss story. And if you haven't watched it, you should definitely check it out because she's very inspiring and she shares some great advice. So over the course of about a year, Megan has lost 46 pounds, which is just amazing. She's completely changed not just her body, but her life. And when I asked her to share what she focuses on, this is what she had to say. Eek, macros. Macros are a scary, intimidating word for me. Early on, I spent some time trying to figure that out and make a plan, but yuck, too much thinking. I knew that first and foremost, for Melanie's program to work for me, it had to be easy to follow and low stress. So my whole focus has been calories with as much protein as I can throw in. I feel like protein gives me more bang for my calorie buck. So when I need to hit my calorie goal, sometimes hitting it is harder than you think, I throw in a protein bar or Greek yogurt as a snack before bed. So thanks Meredith and Megan for sharing your advice with us. I could have got similar advice from so many of the ladies that I work with. At the end of the day, it really does come down to not overcomplicating things, finding something that's sustainable and that you can stick with for the long run. As these ladies said, it is about consistency. When you're trying to lose weight and things aren't going your way, it's common to look for other things that are easy to blame, say, for example, sugar intake or having too many carbs. But at the end of the day, it really does come down to creating a calorie deficit and having enough protein to make sure that you are managing your appetite while you're in that calorie deficit and maintaining or hopefully building some lean muscle mass, and then having a really good weight training program to support you to get stronger and change your shape. And so on that note, I wanted to remind you about my programs if you're looking for a more balanced approach to nutrition and training. I'll leave a link to them in the description of this video, and you can hop over to my website and check them out. Don't hesitate to message me if you have any questions. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again next time.